Today, we're going to talk about increase.
Welcome to the Empowered Lifestyle Podcast, where our lives and God's Word intersect. Each week, you will be infused with short, practical truths to equip you to walk in power, purpose, and impact God's way every day.
All right. So listen, everybody loves increase. You are excited if you are eligible for a promotion and raise on your job. Perhaps maybe you've been serving in ministry and you feel like there's more that God wants you to do. And so you desire to be elevated and for your responsibilities to increase. Perhaps maybe right now you're living in a townhouse, but you desire a home that is huge and one that you can just host people in. You want increase. Perhaps maybe even you are desiring deeper revelation and an increase in your revelation and knowledge of the Lord so that he can use you at a greater capacity. I don't know what it is for you, but I want to just shed some light, shine some light today as we talk about this topic of increase, because we all want more, whatever more is for you. Now, let me tell you, the other weekend, I went on a family trip. We just took a trip driving. And again, I have my two children. And you know what the famous question was throughout the time of the trip? I'm sure you can guess it. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That was even a movie. Are we there yet? And you know what? Sometimes we, in our carnal mind and in our natural desires, might have that question unto God, like, is it time yet? Are we there yet? Can I get that now? Is it mine? I've watched other people and these things happen. Why is it taking so long for me? And or when is it finally going to come? If you've asked yourself that question, guess what? You're not alone. I have had that conversation with the Lord several times. And one thing that the Lord reminds me of every single time is that he does not want to promote us until we are prepared. There's no reason for us to desire more than what we're able to handle in a particular season. And because God is the Alpha and Omega, he has already authored our story. He knows the beginning and the end, and he wants to make sure, I believe in his most loving, gentle way. It's not that he wants to withhold what it is that we desire from him, but he wants us to be ready, to be a person of integrity, and to be able to handle the responsibility, that he desires to bless us with. So whatever you might be desiring increase for in your life, I want you to keep these things in mind. The story of David is so very powerful. And we know that David was pretty much overlooked when it was time for a new king to be anointed. Him amongst all of his brothers, he was overlooked even by his own dad for a hot second. And the people of Israel, they were afraid of Goliath, the Philistine Goliath, and no one was going to go and pretty much kill this giant. But here's the thing. When it came time for someone to stand up against Goliath, David said, I'm the man for the job. In so many words, he said, I'm the man for the job. Samuel chapter 17, verses 32 through 36 says this. David said to Saul, let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him. Now listen, David was full of what? Confidence. If we desire more, if we want to go to the next level, we have to be able to be trusted. But not only that, we want to have confidence that we can handle the assignment that is coming next. We want to be confident that if God increases our platform, that we're able to steward it properly. We want to be sure that if we have more finances, that we are able to manage them responsibly. And so David was confident. Why was he confident? Because he had handled what was his and what he was responsible for beforehand. So my question is, how are you handling what you have right now in this moment? How are you stewarding the house that you have? How are you raising the children that God has blessed you with? How are you showing up at your workplace each and every day when you desire to be the CEO, the CFO, or to get that promotion? How are you you handling yourself in your home church and in your ministry? Are you showing up? You desire the next level, but are you doing what it is that you need to be doing at this particular moment? I'm kind of going ahead of myself, but this lesson here is so key and so pivotal. It's so essential before we go through the process of God pivoting us, because we want to be prepared. And we need to have confidence that we can handle whatever is on the other side of where we are right now. We want to prepare for our next right now. And so verse 33 says, Saul replied, you are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him, for you are only a young man. Somebody might be saying, you're from the projects. You can't make that happen. Do you know you can't get this house, this car, because your finances says this? No, you are not able to be used because you had a baby out of wedlock. No, this trauma happened to you in your past. You're not able to do that. But you know what? David was confident in himself and in God, who called him to do what was next. The same way that you need to be confident in the fact that you can handle and do and take care of the things that are laying now before you. You're the person for the job. So many lessons up in here. 34 says, but David said to Saul, so you need to say, right, to your stinking thinking, your small little thinking, you need to say to the enemy, you need to put whoever's trying to hinder you in their place, namely sometimes the devil and us and our small thinking. But it says, but David said to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it and struck it and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. So pretty much I can defeat this Philistine. So he was relying on the fact that he has done this before. How many times do you desire increase? But you know, sometimes we say that people fear failure, but people also fear success. And a lot of times we have to remind ourselves, we have to silence the voices of the enemy. We have to silence our doubts. We have to silence those who are trying to hinder us and say, wait a minute, I have been responsible with my workload up until this point. So I know that I can handle the next thing. I have been responsible for those who are in my small group and discipling them. And so I can handle when the promotion comes and I'm able to now minister to larger groups of people. I don't know what it is for you. I'm just giving different circumstances. You might be saying, you know what? I can handle this large lump sum of inheritance and increase that the Lord wants to bless me with, this raise, because I have properly handled when I had little and few. I can properly take care of this new car, this home, these investments, right? Because I have properly handled. Hey, come on, somebody. Do you see what I'm saying? So David was able to be confident. He was able to silence the voices of those who doubted him. He was able to rise up to the occasion when the Lord called him out and pretty much appointed, anointed, and chosen, I'll say, chosen him to be the one who was going to go to the next level, to be the one who was going to do what nobody else was willing to do. There is something that God is calling you to do that no one else it's reserved for you. So are you going to, if you're desiring increase, if you're desiring more, if you're desiring that promotion, that elevation, the more that's on the other side of where you are now, what is next? Are you positioning yourself to be able to handle it? And I want to believe that you are. And if you are not, then let this be a reminder to you. Don't just keep asking God, when is it time yet? And when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to happen for me? Are we there yet? God, you show me these visions. You show me these prophecies. When are we there yet, Lord? Like my son kept asking. But I believe that today the Lord just wanted me to remind you, as he's been reminding me, that, hey, we have to be faithful over what it is that God has blessed us with in this particular now season that you're in. And so do you remember, and I'm not going to read it right now, but I want to challenge you to go over to Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 23, where you see the parable of the talents. And then it ends with this in verse 23. Well done, good and faithful servant, to the ones who actually did something with who was a good steward over what they had. He said, you have been faithful over few things, so I will now put you in charge over many. So that is the key to increase. We want to be faithful over what God has given us right now, whether it be our job, our friends, our finances, the people who we lead, our position, right? The knowledge base that he's given us. Are we obedient in the small things so that he can trust us with more? So I want to encourage you today to be faithful over the few so that God can trust you with more. And it is in that time of preparation that he is positioning you to pivot so that you can experience the more that he has promised, the more that has been prophesied over you, and the more that you desire, so that you can truly walk in your destiny with power, with purpose, and with impact. All right. So, hey, listen, thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to, before we close, I want to just challenge you to drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What is it that you're praying and believing God for? Where is it that you desire increase? I would love to be able to partner with you in prayer and just pray about your process of preparation and for the manifestation of that. Also, if this has been good to you, if you've been enjoying this empowered lifestyle podcast here on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening, make sure to subscribe. And particularly on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time a new video comes out. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Empowered Lifestyle Podcast. For more inspiration and jewels of truth for your everyday life, be sure to subscribe right now and also share this podcast with a friend. Let's connect across social media at Teresa Renee Hunt. I'm so excited to meet you there. And before you go, head over to teresareneehunt.com/podcast to pick up the complimentary gift awaiting you. It's my way of saying thank you for tuning in. Until next week, grace, peace, and joy.